all season long, yet when they transition to the field on a football game, he plays his game, not the game the coaches want him to play. When you look at a lot of quarterbacks, they're going to sling it. They're going to try to throw it through an eye of a needle. Sometimes you just have to take that chance. That's not his game. That's why he stands back there. A lot of times he's patting the ball, and it throws the timing of the offense off. The rhythm is thrown off. I don't think at this point they can't get him out of it.
They can't get him out of it. So why do I believe Derek Gunn? Why do I believe Derek Gunn's not spitballing? Because this is exactly what I told you after what I heard this summer. I said it in July or August, that I was told that Hurts wasn't that popular with coaches or the locker room. He's not a rah, let's go out and get beers guy. He's very much his own man, his own beat. I respect the hell out of him. High IQ, high EQ, great leadership, tough as a cheap steak. The kid I like him. I don't think he's great from the pocket. But I heard from somebody very close, it is an impenetrable source, one of my best. And he's like, you're not that popular. And it's not Russell Wilson Seahawks bad. It's not that. I'm not saying that. But there is a sense by some of the people that he's a little cliched, a little too polished. Here's some of the things he has said when he goes to a podium in and around the area in Philadelphia.
You either win or you lose. Or you either win or you learn. That's how I feel. You either win or you learn. Money is nice. Championships are better.
And you go through the course of these things and you learn that success isn't built off of approval. It's built off of endurance. It's built off of strength.
I know I didn't walk through that fire just to smell the smoke. So we're going to finish it off like that. Thank you.
You know, listen, you could say he's just being philosophical. Well, never forget, Socrates was not popular in his locker room either. People don't want Socrates or Aristotle. They want a guy. Brady's pounding beers in the offseason with a slot receiver from Lehigh. You know, I mean, Mahomes, Peyton Manning, they're one of the guys. Jalen's not really, I've been told, one of the guys. But I'll defend him because he wins. He's tough. Philadelphia is a loud city. Talk radio's huge. Columnists are aggressive. I mean, they've got their security guard. Sirianni's animated. It's not an easy town to win. It's as tough a job. I mean, Bill Parcells told Andy Reid when he took that job, it is the toughest place to coach in the league. So I think his personality works in Philadelphia. I think Jalen, Dak Prescott, Jalen, Justin Herbert, those kind of guys would work in Philadelphia because they kind of diffuse heat and noise. But I was told this summer, he's not that popular.
All right, everyone. It is absolutely critical that we establish a fundamental distinction here. There is a profound difference between simply not being perceived as one of the guys and being an individual whom people genuinely do not want to be around. These are two entirely separate concepts. I have become so deeply immersed and frustrated by this entire situation because the discourse continues to spiral into increasingly absurd territory. We are now expected to accept the premise put forth by individuals like Derek Gunn, who suggests that Jalen Hurts is deliberately refusing to make high-difficulty, precision throws. Yet, I have previously demonstrated with statistical evidence that Jalen Hurts, alongside Dak Prescott, consistently ranks at the very top of the league in the percentage of his passes thrown into the most tightly covered windows. The Philadelphia Eagles receiving corps, as a unit, generates among the lowest rates of separation in the entire NFL, a fact that holds true whether you examine elite number one options or secondary pass catchers. This is the objective reality of the Eagles' offensive situation. Therefore, the persistent, almost obsessive endeavor to place the entirety of the blame on Jalen Hurts represents a massive misdirection of accountability. When you hear commentary from other coaches or analysts suggesting otherwise, my analytical process remains consistent. I scrutinize the coaching strategies first, and I evaluate the performance of the receivers second. Did Jalen Hurts demonstrate this perceived issue in previous seasons? The answer is a resounding no. He did not. Furthermore, if Jalen Hurts has reached a point where he is exhibiting skepticism towards the current coaching directives, I am inclined to place my trust in his judgment. Consider his career trajectory. The man has been exposed to over 10 different offensive systems and head coaches. Consequently, he has likely developed a more nuanced and experienced understanding of what constitutes effective coaching, mediocre coaching, and deficient coaching than perhaps anyone else in that locker room. This is an inevitable byproduct of frequent coaching changes. You mentally catalog and compare methodologies. You find yourself recalling, well, Coach Mike from a few years ago emphasized this principle, or Coach Jim had a different philosophy on that red. You accumulate a vast repository of knowledge from a diverse array of mentors. Let's revisit the recent past. Was this framed as a significant problem in 2022? Was it a dominant narrative in 2023? Was it a central issue in 2024? Suddenly, it has become a catastrophic problem in 2025. And the supporting evidence seems to be that Jalen Hurts isn't as overtly gregarious or playful as a personality like Cooper DeJean. Therefore, the new narrative is that he is not well-liked. What are we even asserting here? When you pause and genuinely reflect on the premise, it becomes genuinely preposterous. The desire to heap the complete burden of this offensive stagnation onto Jalen Hurts, and to now claim that coaches are frustrated with him because his conscientious ball security is allegedly disrupting the offensive rhythm, is illogical. Do you comprehend that if he were to attempt passes into even tighter windows at a higher frequency, which appears to be the coaching staff's inexplicable demand, his interception numbers would likely skyrocket? He is already among the league leaders in this challenging metric. The quarterbacks clustered at the top with him in this category are Jalen Hurts, Marcus Mariota, Dak Prescott, J.J. McCarthy, Davis Mills, and Jake Browning. Notably, we can reasonably discount several of these names, as McCarthy and Mariota haven't played full seasons. This effectively narrows the consistent company to Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, and the apparent desire is for him to do more of this. Consider the established elite quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. They are not consistently found at the summit of this particular statistical category. Reflect on what is being asked of him. The Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff is essentially demanding that Jalen Hurts execute a style of quarterback play that Andy Reid does not require of Patrick Mahomes, and that Sean McVay does not demand from Matthew Stafford. In fact, J.J. McCarthy's presence high on this list is often cited with a critical tone. Analysts frequently note that many of his tight window attempts are ill-advised, the wrong read, or dangerous forced throws. This aggressive style is a primary contributor to high interception totals. And who currently leads the league in interceptions? A quick check confirms it is J.J. McCarthy and Jake Browning, both with 8 interceptions, despite neither having played a full season. Is it truly surprising that they also rank highly in tight window throws? If Marcus Mariota were playing a full season, his interception pace would likely place him near the top of that list as well. So let's synthesize this. These quarterbacks, Browning, McCarthy, Mariota, are all at or near the top of the NFL in interceptions. Jalen Hurts is attempting a comparable, and in some cases higher, percentage of his passes into tight coverage. And yet, he is not turning the ball over at a commensurate rate. Do you grasp the significance of that? And the prevailing criticism is that he should be doing it even more. The entire line of reasoning is utterly nonsensical. Consider Baker Mayfield, who is a mere 0.1% away from Jalen Hurts in this metric. One might argue, well, Baker Mayfield is doing it. However, a deeper look at turnover-worthy plays reveals a different story. Mayfield has 17 such plays. This statistic is crucial because it measures instances where a quarterback puts the ball in harm's way, regardless of whether it results in an interception. It quantifies luck and risk-taking. A high number indicates that a quarterback is fortunate not to have more interceptions. This is a vital coaching tool used to illustrate to a player, you were not picked off there, but you absolutely could have been. You cannot make that throw. Respected voices like Kurt Warner, who possesses undeniable expertise in quarterback play, consistently emphasize this point. Now, Jalen Hurts demonstrates exemplary ball security, and we are led to believe this is a negative trait, even though he is already being asked to operate with an exceptionally high degree of difficulty. It is an indefensible position. Look at the data on turnover-worthy plays. His rate is so low, he is ranked 4th in the league. That is not a weakness. It is a remarkable strength, and to frame it otherwise is a distortion of reality. I believe Josh Allen is a phenomenal talent who is asked to carry an immense burden for his team. He operates under more difficult circumstances than Jalen Hurts. The organizational support structure around Hurts in Philadelphia is, without question, superior to what the Buffalo Bills have provided for Allen. This should be a point of pride for Eagles fans, not a point of contention. If Josh Allen were able to marginally reduce his turnovers in key situations, using the recent Texans game as an example where he was required to be superhuman, it might translate directly into more victories. Patrick Mahomes' critical interceptions against the Jaguars and the Broncos were direct catalysts for losses. Would the Chiefs be in a more secure playoff position, perhaps competing for a top seed, without those two specific turnovers? The answer is self-evident. It is a strange reality where a quarterback's prudent decision-making is criticized. Are we truly to believe that a quarterback who has been molded by coaching titans like Nick Saban and Lincoln Riley, and who has succeeded under strategists like Shane Steichen, has suddenly decided to disregard coaching altogether? It is a far more plausible explanation that he has developed a discerning understanding of quality coaching and what is genuinely required to win football games. Perhaps he is currently being guided by individuals who lack that very understanding. This seems like a more probable root cause. I am not asserting that Jalen Hurts is beyond reproach or that there is no room for improvement in his game. However, the principal responsibility of an offensive coordinator is to facilitate success for their quarterback. The paramount objective is to simplify the game, to create clarity, and to make the quarterback's job more manageable. This is not an indictment of the quarterback's intelligence or ability. It is the core function of the coaching role. It is Andy Reid's job to simplify the game for Patrick Mahomes. It is Sean McVay's job to create clarity for Matthew Stafford. It is Ben Johnson's job to structure an offense that empowers Caleb Williams. This is a universal principle of offensive football. The system can still be complex and demanding, but the coach's duty is to distill that complexity into executable tasks for the players. Kyle Shanahan has publicly expounded on this very philosophy, stating that his value is derived from his ability to solve the strategic puzzle, thereby putting his players in a position where they only need to focus on execution. He is absolutely correct. The Super Bowl victory under former offensive coordinator Kellen Moore serves as the perfect case study. It was a masterclass in this symbiotic relationship. Moore crafted a game plan that simplified reads and created advantageous situations for Hurts, who then executed at an elite level. When the structure inevitably broke down at times, Hurts utilized his athleticism to create plays. The result is history. That game perfectly illustrated the ideal equilibrium between a brilliant offensive mind and a talented quarterback. While the partnership of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is the modern standard, that specific Super Bowl was the quintessential demonstration of the Moore-Hurts dynamic. Consider the current connection between Hurts and wide receiver Devonta Smith. Smith is consistently the only Eagles receiver who manages to create consistent separation. Observe the production and synergy between them. This suggests a clear correlation. When a receiver can reliably get open, Jalen Hurts can and will deliver the ball effectively. That is the conversation we should be having, not speculating about his popularity or whether he socializes with teammates like Cooper DeJean or Jalen Carter. What are we even discussing? Tom Brady was known for bonding with his slot receivers. Peyton Manning had his own style. So what? The notion that a specific type of extroversion is a prerequisite for championship success is a fallacy. Tom Brady famously criticized Baker Mayfield's approach, stating, "This isn't Disneyland," and was praised for his unwavering focus. The implication was that Brady's severe professionalism was the right way, while Mayfield's demeanor was a liability. I defended Mayfield then, and I maintain that there is no single, monolithic personality type that guarantees victory. Do you genuinely believe the Philadelphia Eagles' primary issue is that Jalen Hurts doesn't share the same personality as Saquon Barkley or Baker Mayfield? The suggestion that a quarterback like Dak Prescott would be a better fit in Philadelphia is laughable. Have you ever experienced the Philadelphia sports environment? Dak Prescott's documented playoff performances would be eviscerated in that market. The fan base would have zero patience. They would nostalgically prefer a 55-year-old Donovan McNabb over a prime Dak Prescott. The idea is ludicrous. I am a tremendous admirer of Justin Herbert's talent, but I have serious doubts about how his reserved demeanor would be received in the relentless Philadelphia media and fan crucible, especially considering the adversity Jalen Hurts has navigated through the 2022, 2023, and 2024 seasons. The assertion that Jalen Hurts is being defiant is contradicted by his actions. He is willingly accepting a style of play that suppresses his personal statistics and damages his public reputation, all for the perceived benefit of winning games. That is an incredible display of selflessness and team-first commitment. It should be celebrated as a virtue. Instead, we are encouraged to valorize the image of a quarterback slamming drinks with teammates, as if that superficial camaraderie was the secret to Tom Brady's success. Was that the reason Peyton Manning won his 2 Super Bowls? His second victory was largely gifted to him by a historically great defense and an opposing quarterback, Cam Newton, who had an uncharacteristically poor performance. If Newton had played with the poise and efficiency of Jalen Hurts in a Super Bowl, Manning might only have 1 championship, the same number as Hurts. This entire one of the guys narrative is a flimsy construct. I speak from personal experience as someone who is inherently sociable and can connect with virtually any group. I can appreciate diverse music genres, engage in conversations with anyone from a defensive lineman to a kicker, and find common ground with a wide spectrum of personalities. The concept of being distant, removed, or perceived as inauthentic is completely foreign to my nature, which should be evident from the community-oriented approach of this channel. Therefore, I believe I can empathize with the perspective of a Jalen Hurts, and it is perfectly acceptable. As long as there is no air of superiority, and there is no evidence of that from Hurts, his demeanor is fine. Recall the clip where Hurts sprinted to Saquon Barkley after a game, emphatically stating, "You made the difference." Barkley humbly deflected, "No man, it was we," to which Hurts insisted, "I know it's we, but you made it." That is the conduct of a class act and a genuine leader. I challenge you to find a hot mic clip of Tom Brady or Peyton Manning displaying that specific brand of gracious, teammate-elevating praise on the sideline in the heat of a moment. I observe a landscape where many individuals are focused on securing their own accolades and statistics. Jalen Hurts, who has already attained significant wealth and fame, he was a superstar in 2022 and was compensated handsomely before the 2023 season, is being accused of having his priorities skewed by fame and money. This is a baseless accusation. We are simply inventing narratives. There may be kernels of truth in some of these reports, but they are being sensationalized, magnified, and fundamentally misinterpreted. This returns us to my initial point. There is a vast chasm between not being one of the guys and being disliked or a problem. It is entirely possible to be a more reserved, focused individual who is still deeply respected and valued by his teammates without being the life of the party. The criticism has devolved to highlighting moments where Jalen Hurts delivers a team speech that some might find cheesy. Is that the crux of the argument? Where are the clips of Peyton Manning's heated exchanges with his offensive line? Where is the footage of Tom Brady destroying tablets and screaming at coaches? Where is the evidence of Patrick Mahomes confronting Rashee Rice on the sideline during the Super Bowl? The selective and disproportionate scrutiny is glaringly obvious. What is the ultimate intention of this conversation? What conclusion are we attempting to force? What is the fundamental purpose? The core argument being advanced seems to be that if Jalen Hurts were more likable, the Philadelphia Eagles would be a better football team. The secondary argument is that if he forced the ball into coverage like Jake Browning, the offense would be more potent. This is absurd when juxtaposed with the objective data. Pass catchers for other elite quarterbacks, such as Juju Smith-Schuster, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and others, enjoy nearly double the separation from defenders compared to the targets for Jalen Hurts. We are expected to blame the quarterback for the inability of receivers, who are supposedly superior talents, to create space. And now, we are intertwining this with a nebulous discussion about his likability. The synthesized narrative is that Jalen Hurts is ignoring his coaches, refusing to make the throws they want, and is not well liked. This is the flawed and misguided core of the current discourse. I can state with absolute conviction that this is the wrong conversation. The focus is misplaced, the evidence is being ignored, and the conclusions are fundamentally unsound. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What is your perspective on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles? How do you feel about the nature of these ongoing discussions? Let me know your opinions in the comments section below. I read every single comment, so whether you find yourself in agreement with me or you think I'm completely off base, let me know. We can get into some lively discussions. We can engage in some spirited debates. But ultimately, let's remember to have some fun with it all. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to have you as a part of it. I want to build something that we all feel genuinely connected to, something we're truly excited and proud to be involved in. I believe we are well on our way to achieving that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps with the visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much for watching.